Welcome back to another Blue Review. Greg Bergman, the Big CY, and the Blue Review is presented, as always, by Los Angeles International Airport, where changes are arriving daily to help reduce traffic, save travelers time, and transform the travel experience. And the experience that we saw over the weekend was a Mookie Betts at shortstop experience. CY, you play on the dirt.
Yeah, first career start for Mookie at shortstop, and also kind of a weird one. First of all, it happened on the road. Second of all, it happened in a game that was frigidly cold by basic baseball standards. People said it was 40 degrees. It felt closer to 30 if you were watching that game on TV. And, that's not an easy spot to do that. Now, I just want to refresh people's memories that Mookie Betts is an infielder. Like, that's how he grew up playing baseball. And so what I was curious to see in his start at short was not just his ability to pick up the ball and get it across the diamond, but his general awareness on what he was supposed to be doing. Now, there was one particular play, I believe, a ball that he had to range out to left field, a ball that ended up dropping that I actually thought Mookie made the smart play there. Now, typically, if you're a starting shortstop, you're probably going to catch that ball. It ended up being the left fielder's ball, but he's still working on that communication. And he wasn't willing to crash into two different dudes just in order to make a play. Secondly, game ends on a double play ball in which he just gets it. Nice little scoop to the second baseman. His awareness was there in ways that I thought were better than just his athleticism, which is all he ever really gives credit for. So Mookie did a great job, and he hit a home run off of Marcus Stroman, something that had not been done yet to that point in this career. They ended up getting 3 off of Stroh. Those were the first home runs he'd given up this season, Greg, and he'd had a pretty good season to that so far, and they chased him. A lot of bombs, and Mookie did well.
Yeah, a lot of bombs is the right way to put it, because basically that's what the Dodgers are doing right now. To the point of that in that 4-game series, which they did win 3-1, they hit 17 of their 22 runs came from home runs. Home runs, which is great, and it's a ton of fun, and we love watching it, and it's awesome that you're hitting the ball at the park. You got Max Muncy going nuts. He's got 11 home runs, tied for the National League lead. Good for him. Really great stuff, really stepping it all back, but the reliance on the home run is really, really strong right now. And until they can start manufacturing runs in other ways outside of the home run, this team is not going to be complete. I know there's a lot. It's still early, and there's a lot that they need to go through. But the home run reliance is a problem. This is where they are starting to, as you know, it can be a rally killer. It can do a lot of things that, while great to see, and you get really excited and you jump up out of your seat and everything's fantastic, give me some singles, give me some doubles, give me some other ways to bring the runs around to really get them going. And just go back for Mookie just 1 second. He has more bases already in that game in like a quarter that he played than Miguel Rojas has all season. So just,
right, we're not taking Miguel Rojas just because Mookie Betts happens to be a dominant player. But I don't think I'm quite at the point, Greg, of what I would call reliant. They're hitting a lot of home runs. I don't know how. Listen, as a general matter, of course, I do not love bloop and a blast baseball. It's just not how I think that the best teams execute at the top level. The New York Yankees come to mind as a team that does that well. So I do think that it is a sign that your hitters are at least getting to where they need to be. But I'm with you. I mean, a team that hits. Also, historically, this team isn't as good when they hit as many home runs. When the Dodgers have been in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the homers in the big leagues, they don't tend to do as well. And I think that that's, something to take caution for. I like to see the ball hit out of the yard as a matter of producing runs, but it's not the only way you want to go. So I'm not quite at level of concern, but it is certainly of note, along with the fact that this team has given up 10 runs, something that happened in this series as well. 3 different times this year. I'm almost more concerned about that, even though they've scored a bunch of runs alongside that than I am the home runs.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you on that. They are giving up way more runs, and a lot of it is based upon, guys that are going out there. I mean, they let one of those times it was Noah Syndergaard, they just let him die out there. One of the times they let Michael Grove just die out there. And then it happened again on Friday versus the Cubs. Just sometimes you just get hit, and they let Urias just die out there. So I'm okay with those 3. I wish that it didn't happen, obviously, but they got to be able to bring those down. I actually trust those guys just a little bit. But to go back to the home run thing just for a second, it's something that is great right now. But when you get to the postseason, you can't rely on that. No. When you get to later down the line, you need to be able to get runs across in other ways.
Also, because you're facing different. I mean, you're typically not facing lower in the end guys in the pitching staff. You're facing a lot of matchups. And so that's why you need to be able to do a lot more situational stuff, because you just never know what comes to getting the ball out of the yard.
Yep, absolutely. And now they're going to go to somewhere. It's going to be a little bit difficult. They're still on the road. They're going to Pittsburgh. And if you didn't know, CY, the best team in the National League right now is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And one of the better hitters right now, interestingly enough, is a guy named Connor Joe. He was in the Dodgers farm system for 2 or 3 years in AAA and just never kind of made it up, and they ended up moving him. And now he's playing really well for the Pirates right now. So good for him.
Having a great time too. If you haven't watched the Pirates recently, this is a fun team. They've sort of been young and up and coming, maybe not for the past couple seasons because the Pirates haven't taken their operation seriously, but they've got Ke'Bryan Hayes at third base, who is arguably an all-star and one of the best fielders in the major leagues. This is a losable series. These are the kind of things we talked about. Like, you don't just want to walk in here and assume because of your father's Pittsburgh Pirates or even your grandfather's Pittsburgh Pirates that they're not going to be competitive. This is a team that's looking to at least show some kind of fight in the National League this year, and shown so far. So I do think this will be a very interesting series for this Dodgers team, just in terms of you got through a sort of a cold, chilly series in Chicago. What does it look like when you get to Pittsburgh? They've got an off day on the road, which hopefully helped them realign some things in the bullpen. But I do think this is not exactly a gut check, but an interesting barometer on what exactly is motivating this Dodgers team right now.
Yeah, no, totally. And how much do you think Andrew McCutchen has to do with the Pirates getting a little bit break up the Pirates?
It's funny because McCutchen is a guy that, not to get too far into this, but you can see my wall here. I obviously care a lot about baseball for a lot of different reasons. McCutchen is a guy that I was stunned that he took so long to hang on in any particular franchise. He's been kind of around the league for the past 5 seasons or so. And so to see him get welcomed back to the squad that he basically made himself famous, I think there's I don't want to say a karmic level of sort of restitution for him, but, it's kind of good for the soul there for Pittsburgh, for him to be a part of that team again. And even as the elder statesman, those are the kind of guys that go on to manage teams when you think about what happens down the line in baseball lives of athletes. So I love to see it. McCutchen's a brother who's always been very good for the game and now standing steward of not just baseball, but black baseball as well. Cool dude. So we'll see what can come of it for the Buccos and the Dodgers.
Yep, it's going to be a tough series in Pittsburgh, but they got to get through some of this. All right, that'll do it for the Blue Review. CY, talk to you tomorrow.